Hi guys, it's Phelps-Roper. In this video, I will be speaking 100 badass quotes by one of my favorite authors, Robert Greene. These quotes come from his 5 books that he has written, namely, The 33 Strategies of War, Mastery, The Art of Seduction, The Laws of Human Nature, and the 48 Laws of Power. So, without further ado, here we go. From the 33 Strategies of War. The greatest battle of all is with yourself, your weaknesses, your emotions, your lack of resolution to see things through to the end. You must declare increasing war on yourself. As a warrior in life, you must welcome combat and conflict as ways to prove yourself, to better your skills, to gain courage, confidence, and experience. Instead of repressing your doubts and fears, you must face them down, do battle with them. You want more challenges and to invite more war. You are forging the warrior spirit, and only constant practice will lead you there. In this world, where the game is played with loaded dice, a man must have a temper of iron, with armor proof to the blows of fate, and weapons to make his way against men. Life is one long battle. We have to fight at every step. Let him who wants peace prepare for war. You must actively resist the emotional pull of the moment, staying decisive, confident, and aggressive no matter what hits you. Make the mind tougher by exposing it to adversity. Learn to detach yourself from the chaos of the battlefield. Let others lose their heads. The essence of strategy is not to carry out a brilliant plan that proceeds in steps. It is to put yourself in situations where you have more options. Victory comes from discipline, training, and ruthlessly high standards. Right from the beginning, your troops must see you leading from the front, sharing their dangers and sacrifices, taking the cause as seriously as they do. Instead of pushing them from behind, make them run to keep up with you. True believers are what you want. Expertise and impressive resumes matter less than character and the capacity for sacrifice. In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the actions of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood. With a little clever manipulation, you can always turn things around. This is how you must look at every apparent problem and difficulty. Only by knowing your enemies can you ever hope to vanquish them. Defeat is a stern teacher, and your beaten opponent today may be wiser tomorrow. When you strike, hit with unrelenting force. Acting with speed and decisiveness will garner you respect, awe, and irresistible momentum. The punch that puts you to sleep is not so much the hardest punch as it is the punch that you don't see coming. Those who are tyrants and domineering types can smell your anxiety, and it makes them even more tyrannical. Before anything else, you must lose your fear. The fear of death, the fear of the consequences of a bold maneuver, the fear of other people's opinion of you. That single moment will suddenly open up vistas of possibilities. He had anticipated so many possible problems that he could come up with a rapid answer to any of them. Never say you are strong, show you are. Since defeat is inevitable in life, you must master the art of losing well and strategically. You must welcome defeat as a way to make yourself stronger. The best defense against moral warriors is to give them no target. Live up to your good name. Practice what you preach, at least in public. Ally yourself with the most just causes of the day. Make your opponents work so hard to undermine your reputation that they seem desperate, and their attacks blow up in their faces. Words have strange paradoxical qualities. Offer people advice, for instance, no matter how sound, and you imply that you know more than they do. To the extent that this strikes at their insecurities, your wise words may merely have the effect of entrenching them in the very habits you want to change. If you want to communicate an important idea, you must not preach. Instead, make your readers or listeners connect the dots and come to the conclusion on their own. Your only real safeguard against conspiracies and saboteurs is to keep your troops satisfied, engaged in their work, and united by their cause. From mastery. You are committed to your life's task, to giving it full expression. It is up to you to find it and guide it correctly. You must value learning above everything else. This will lead you to all of the right choices. Repeated failure will toughen your spirit and show you with absolute clarity how things must be done. The greatest skill of all is to be able to think and reason in any kind of situation. Not even enlightenment is enough. You must continually start over and challenge yourself. Accustom yourself to criticism. Confidence is important, but if it is not based on a realistic appraisal of who you are, it is mere grandiosity and smugness. Develop extreme self-reliance and push yourself to learn from every possible source. You need to pay less attention to the words that people say and greater attention to their tone of voice, the look in their eye, their body language. You must be particularly careful to never make people feel stupid in your presence. In this diverse, multicultural world, it is best that you learn how to mingle and blend into all types of environments, giving yourself maximum flexibility. To have the power to see ourselves through the eyes of others would be of immense benefit to our social intelligence. We could begin to correct the flaws that offend, to see the role that we play in creating any kind of negative dynamic, and to have a more realistic assessment of who we really are. When it comes to practical life, what should matter is getting long-term results and getting the work done in as efficient and creative a manner as possible. That should be the supreme value that guides people's actions. In dealing with fools, you must adopt the following philosophy. They are simply a part of life, like rocks and furniture. Seeing this foolishness within you, you can then accept it in others. You must keep your mind completely open. No item is too small or unimportant to escape your attention. If an apparent anomaly calls into question your own beliefs and assumptions, so much the better. No moment is wasted if you pay attention and learn the lessons contained in every experience. Know your strengths and move with them. He can no longer accept the superiority of one particular belief or value system. To hold such an opinion is merely an illusion that comes from remaining on the outside. From the Art of Seduction. A person in love will surrender. We want them back. The siren call of seduction is irresistible because power is irresistible, and nothing will bring you more power in the modern world than the ability to seduce. As children, we mostly devoted our lives to play and pleasure. Adults often have feelings of being cut off from this paradise, of being weighed down by responsibilities. The seducer knows that people are waiting for pleasure. They never get enough of it from friends and lovers, and they cannot get it by themselves. Charmers understand your spirit, feel your pain, adapt to your moods. In the presence of one, you feel better about yourself. Charmers do not argue or fight, complain or pester. What could be more seductive? Never show anger, ill temper, or vengefulness, all disruptive emotions that will make people defensive. In the politics of large groups, welcome adversity as a chance to show the charming qualities of magnanimity and poise. Let others get flustered and upset. The contrast will redound to your favor. Never whine, never complain, and never try to justify yourself. Most of us must compromise constantly to survive. Saints do not. They must live out their ideals without caring about the consequences. The saintly effect bestows charisma. You need to believe in something, and to believe in it strongly enough for it to animate all your gestures and make your eyes light up. Charismatics display a need for love and affection. Since charisma involves feelings akin to love, you in turn must reveal your love for your followers. An enlightened person has understood something that makes him or her content, and this contentment radiates outward. That is the appearance you want. You do not need anything or anyone. You are fulfilled. People are naturally drawn to those who emit happiness. Maybe they can catch it from you. The laws of human nature. To help himself in this deliberative process, he opened his mind to as many ideas and options as possible, even to those of his opponents. He imagined all of the possible consequences of a strategy before committing to it. Consider this like resistance training. The longer you can resist reacting, the more mental space you have for actual reflection, and the stronger your mind will become. Attune yourself to the shifting moods of individuals and the group. Get a read on each person's particular psychology and what motivates them. Try to take their perspective, enter their world and value system. Gauge the relative strength of someone's character by how they handle adversity, their ability to adapt and work with other people, their patience, and ability to learn. A person of strong character is like gold, rare but invaluable. They can adapt, learn, and improve themselves. You want depth of thinking to go to several degrees in imagining the permutations as far as your mind can go. Often going through this process will convince you of the wisdom of doing nothing, of waiting. Never attack people for their beliefs or make them feel insecure about their intelligence or goodness. That will only strengthen their defensiveness and make your task of communicating impossible. He was wiser than all the others because he was aware of his own ignorance. Over and over again, he examined and re-examined his own ideas. People can often see our shadow better than we can, and it would be wise to elicit their frank opinions on the subject. The potter envies the potter, the craftsman, the craftsman, the writer, the writer. In meetings in which he was clearly the most knowledgeable person, he would make a point of asking for the opinions of the most junior associate in attendance and of listening to what he or she had to say with rapt attention. By all means, defend yourself from any public attacks or gossip that they spread, but do not harbor revenge fantasies. The envier is miserable. The best strategy is to let them stew in their cold poison from a distance, without any future means of wounding you. After any kind of success, analyze the components. See the element of luck that is inevitably there, as well as the role that other people, including mentors, played in your good fortune. This will neutralize the tendency to inflate your powers. You are not a god or an angel, but a flawed human like the rest of us. So accept the fact that you cannot control the people around you, and remember that no strategy is ever foolproof. When people operate in groups, they do not engage in nuanced thinking and deep analysis. Only individuals with a degree of calmness and detachment can do so. People in groups feel emotional and excited. Their primary desire is to fit into the group spirit. We inevitably feel the need for status and recognition, so let's not deny it. Instead, Let's cultivate such status and recognition through our excellent work. Never relinquish your ability to doubt, reflect, and consider other options. What you want within the group is strategic options and room to maneuver, to have many allies and widen your power base. You listen to your foot soldiers. You want your meetings to be lively with people not overly concerned about bruising egos and causing offense. In the end, you want a group that has been through a few wars, dealt with them reasonably well, and is now battle-tested. They do not wilt at the sign of new obstacles, and in fact, welcome them. She was not interested in war for glory or conquest, but only to safeguard the country's interests. Everything we get from others, and most definitely their respect, must be earned. We have to continually prove ourselves. We have to show that our primary consideration is not ourselves and our sensitive egos, but the welfare of the group. You have a responsibility to contribute to the culture and times you live in. Right now, you are living off the fruit of millions of people in the past who have made your life incomparably easier through their struggles and inventions. You have benefited from an education that embodies the wisdom of thousands of years of experience. This world needs constant improvement and renewal. You are here not merely to gratify your impulses and consume what others have made, but to make and contribute as well, to serve a higher purpose. Most people are rather weak. They are mostly led by their emotions, which change by the day. They want things to be rather easy in life and tend to take the path of least resistance. They don't have a stomach for a protracted battle. Almost nothing in the world can resist persistent human energy. Things will yield if we strike enough blows with enough force. All of us are connected through our common mortality and made equal by it. It is the fate we all share and should draw us closer for that reason. It should shake us out of any sense of feeling superior or separated. We are all a part of the brotherhood and sisterhood of death. The purpose of our consciousness is to always take it as far as we can. That is the source of our power as a species, what we are called to do. From the 48 Laws of Power. If the world is like a giant scheming court, and we are trapped inside it, there is no use in trying to opt out of the game of power. That will only render you powerless, and powerlessness will make you miserable. The most important skill is the ability to master your emotions. An emotional response to a situation is the single greatest barrier to power, a mistake that will cost you a lot more than any temporary satisfaction you might gain by expressing your feelings. Never trust anyone completely and study everyone. Friendship and love blind every man to their own interests. Keep friends for friendship, but work with the skilled and competent. Never let the presence of enemies upset or distress you. You are far better off with a declared opponent or two than not knowing where your real enemies lie. The man of power welcomes conflict, using enemies to enhance his reputation as a sure-footed fighter who can be relied upon in times of uncertainty. Men are more ready to repay an injury than a benefit, because gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure. Honesty is a blunt instrument which bloodies more than it cuts. Your honesty is likely to offend people. It is much more prudent to tailor your words, telling people what they want to hear, rather than the coarse and ugly truth of what you feel or think. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. A person who cannot control his words shows that he cannot control himself and is unworthy of respect. Learn the lesson. Once the words are out, you cannot take them back. Keep them under control. Reputation is a treasure to be carefully collected and hoarded, especially when you are first establishing it. You must protect it strictly, anticipating all attacks on it. Once it is solid, do not let yourself get angry or defensive at the slanderous comments of your enemies. Never make it too clear what you are doing or what you are about to do. Don't show all your cards. You can slog through life making endless mistakes, wasting time and energy trying to do things from your own experience. Or you can use the armies of the past. The ultimate power is the power to get people to do as you wish. When you can do this without having to force people or hurt them, when they willingly grant you what you desire, then your power is untouchable. Animals behave in set patterns, which is why we are able to hunt and kill them. Only man has the capacity to consciously alter his behavior, to improvise and overcome the weight of routine and habit. A man who is of little importance and means today can be a person of power tomorrow. We forget a lot in our lives, but we rarely forget an insult. Given how important the idea of intelligence is to most people's vanity, it is critical never inadvertently to insult or impugn a person's brain power. That is an unforgivable sin. Be careful, ever so careful, in trumpeting your own achievements, and always talk less about yourself than other people. Keep the extent of your abilities unknown. Close off the vistas of indecision and force people to make up their damn minds or get to the point. Never let them make you play on their excruciating terms. Never give them time. Never combat any man's opinion, for though you reach the age of Methuselah, you would never have done setting him right on all of the absurd things that he believes. It is also well to avoid correcting people's mistakes in conversation, however good your intentions may be, for it is easy to offend people and difficult, if not impossible, to mend them. Anger only cuts off our options, and the powerful cannot thrive without options. You must constantly win over more allies on all levels. The time will inevitably come when you will need them. There is nothing more intoxicating than victory, and nothing more dangerous. Learn to move fast and adapt, or you will be eaten. Never show any defensiveness. Let no one know what gets to you. Well, that wraps up the 100 quotes of Robert Greene that we have today. So I hope you enjoyed that, and stick around. More good stuff to come. Thanks.